Hey, welcome back to the Unshakable Founder. It is a Saturday evening. I don't know how much time I have, and actually, you know what? Oh, no. I have some time. My wife is out currently walking my dog, and she's got our son with her, so I don't have a lot of time. I didn't get a chance because I was so busy this past Thursday, which is when I usually record these. And so I'm going to go through my list here. And if I get a text, that'll be it for this week. But there's not a lot to go through, but there's a lot of things I want to update you guys on from this past week. And so let's get started, right? Starting with this week has been a lot about prepping myself mentally for jumping back into full-time work. It's been over a year and a half since I left my last architecture job, which was like a corporate job. And I'm jumping back into it because I've not been able to meet my financial targets with this business, this coaching business. It has in no way discouraged me or convinced me at all to stop pursuing this. I 100% believe in the work that I'm doing here. I have been a little quieter on Instagram because I've been focused on getting my current one-on-one client results. I've been focused on a presentation that I've had to do recently for my corporate client, which actually went really, really well. And that is actually going to lead, I didn't actually have that listed here, but that reminds me that that's going to lead into another potential opportunity for next year, where I will likely charge more if they accept my proposal, which we're gonna go over in November. So this corporate client that I did 4 sets of presentations this year. They went really well, and this last one I think was the best one. It was on managing emotions, and I will likely share some of those presentations, not what I did for the company, but kind of a redone version for YouTube, because I'm looking to explore doing other things on YouTube that relate to everything that I do with coaching. So I think a lot of that stuff will be helpful for you guys, especially some of the most common problems that I see first-time founders come up against. And these are things that I see in workshops. The questions come up all the time in like workshops, challenges, master classes, you name it. And I'm in a business coaching program, so I get to see firsthand things that people are dealing with at different scales, right? At different financial targets in their business. So people making from 0 to 10K, people making 20 to 30, 30 to 40, all the way up to someone who I think not next week, but the week after, I will be joining a meeting in my business coaching program where someone who is currently making 95K a month consistently is going to present all the things that she's done to get there. And so having firsthand access to these sorts of closed door meetings, I mean, I pay for it, right? But I'm learning so much. So there's that. I am doubling down on this new management system that I've been using. It's Tana, which is like it's a productivity app, right? There's a ton of productivity apps out there, but I've particularly been enjoying the simplicity, and I'm double checking my phone just to make sure I don't see my wife there. I really like the simplicity of Tana, whatever you call it. There's definitely some more nuance in terms of what I can do with it, but currently the way that I'm using it, I'm figuring things out as I go, but it's been instrumental in allowing me to kind of gain clarity on projects that I want to be working on from here to the end of the year, and then new projects that I want to start into next year. Things that will help me grow this coaching business, and things that will help me expand outside of this coaching business, but that are tangent to it, if that makes sense. All great things, all exciting things. Another update, Alex Hormozy a week ago had a new launch, and I don't know if some of you guys saw this, but in it he talked about, if you signed up for his this new offer on school, which was for I think he calls it a hobbyist. So hobbyist pricing. It's a new pricing tier, essentially. He has the hobbyist and then the pro tier, which has always been $99, and it's just where I currently am financially. It was just a little bit too steep of a cost for me to dive into that. But the new hobbyist pricing is $9 a month, which is more than reasonable, right? And he said, if you sign up, you get access to my training on my latest book. So I'm setting up a process for me, like a project for me in my knowledge management system, so that I can go through that training and apply everything that I learned. Because, Alex Hormozi is one of the GOATs when it comes to entrepreneurship and identifying what makes a business work. So I can't wait to dive into that. I will share some of the things that I learned from that and what I'm implementing into my business. So that's one of the things that I'm working on. I kind of realized that, in talking about this over the past, several months that I've been doing this now, I don't really share like exactly what it is that I'm working on. And part of it, is out of embarrassment, if I'm being honest, because I am moving way slower than someone who finds success kind of overnight, right? Or at least, all these great entrepreneurs tout like speed is king, right? When it comes to making money and figuring things out as you go. And for me, it's just, for whatever reason, I'm still figuring out the mental aspects of it, right? Being a mindset coach myself, there are still nuances around the level of quality that I want to bring to you guys. And so part of that is trying to filter what I'm learning versus what I don't think is worth sharing. And part of me doesn't want to do that anymore. Like, part of me wants to share with you the mistakes that I'm making, because I don't want this to be a perception thing, right? Like, I don't want this to be an ego thing. I want this to be, this is the stupid shit that I'm doing and don't do this, right? But it's hard because, in the moment, I have this inner fear of someone being like, oh, Josh is doing this, so maybe I should try it too. And then if it doesn't end up working out for me, I'll have someone get mad at me. But this whole channel, everything that I'm doing here is not meant to be, advice necessarily for you guys to follow. It's just my learnings from what I'm doing, right? This is all for entertainment and educational purposes only, not meant to be specific advice for your situation. My situation's totally different, okay? And I'm definitely moving at a slower pace than I can't even say, I know that I'm part of a very small percentage of people who's even pursuing a side business, right? Or a business in general. Like, very small percentage of people actually have the courage to take the risk to do something like this. So I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm figuring this shit out, and I'm just excited to be here and share all this journey with you guys. So let's see what else I got here. I'm setting up projects and checklists, things that, one of the things I mentioned in the beginning was this whole week has been kind of a preparation, not just my mindset, but also with my time, right? My time prioritizing is going to become abundantly clear in terms of what I need to do in order to move the needle in my business forward. And so I'm trying to kind of organize myself digitally so that, things around the apartment don't fall to the wayside, right? I don't want, my wife's pregnant right now. And, we've got a 1-year-old, we've got a dog. And so we've got all these things going on that I need to make sure I stay on top of. So I'm developing systems and processes and practices that I follow on a weekly basis so that none of that falls behind. And, as someone who just wants better for himself, for his family, these are just things that I have to do despite how much I have to do. It's just, because it's part of my identity, because I've established it as part of my identity, I want to do this. This is not something that I have to do, right? It's something that I get to do. And even further than that, something that I want to do, which is ideally a place that you want to be doing things, not I have to do this thing, or oh, it's such a chore. No, I want to do these things, right? I don't want like the kitchen to be a mess all the time. I don't want our bathroom to be dirty all the time. I want to live in a clean apartment. I want to make sure, laundry's done, not just for myself, but for my son and my wife. And so we're balancing things out. We're figuring things out as we go. And, I start work next week. So we'll adapt. We'll figure things out. And I will continue to grow this business. I'm taking a shift online. You kind of see it here on YouTube. I'm trying to identify what I need to do to create a successful personal brand. And so I'm currently in the process. My business coaches have put out this new, I guess you could say like course. It's like a module of like several videos. And they've consulted, other people who have built really great personal brands. And so they've laid out like all of the research that they've done and the very specific things that you need to do to give you the best shot at having a great personal brand. And so I'm in the process of implementing their system, and so you might start to see a shift on my Instagram. And if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, go check me out. It's cultivate your best self. But it's gonna change. It's gonna change to something with my name in it. Maybe Unshakable Josh. I don't know yet. I don't know. But I mean, my YouTube channel is just my name, Josh Avina, right? I think on X, I'm also, no, I think that's Cultivate Your Best Self as well. But I don't post much on X. I've kind of fallen to the wayside on X, but I do want to start getting more active on LinkedIn. And I'm currently setting up this whole new personal brand content marketing system for Instagram, so that I can batch content and make sure that I'm on top of posting there. Because I've taken I've been posting each week. It's just not as frequently as I was before. So there's that. I'm currently looking into laptops. Let me see. No, I haven't gotten a text from my wife yet. I'm still currently looking into laptops. Wait, did I say I'm still currently? I don't think I've ever mentioned that. Yeah, I'm looking into laptops right now, because right now I have a desktop, a regular personal computer in my living room, but it is so hard to focus when you've got your wife wanting to share stories with you. There are certain times of the day, during the week and on the weekends, where I should be able to focus a certain amount of time on the business. And my wife and I, this is something that we've agreed to, but it can be hard when I'm there for my son to come to me, my dog Luna to come and bring a toy and just boop it against my leg, wanting to play. And there's just so many distractions, right? So I talked to my wife about it, and she said, you know what? Why don't we just invest in a laptop, and you can find a place where, we set aside, like we're still in the process of trying to figure this out, but I need to find somewhere I can go to dedicate just, I don't know, anywhere between 1.5 to 3 hours on Saturdays and Sundays, so that I can work just completely focused on growing the business. And doing what I can to generate leads and, get people on calls with me, and just to see if, I'm like me and all of my prospects are good fits for each other, right? Because I don't want to, I'm not one of those coaches that just wants to get any client in the door, right? If I don't think we're a good fit, I will not work with you. And that's something that I pride myself on, because I know there are a lot of desperate people, a lot of desperate coaches out there that will do anything to get clients, and I don't think that's right. Especially if they don't take into consideration all the ways that they may not be able to get those prospects results. And I know that there are coaches out there that they know they can't get those people results, yet they bring them on anyway and they take their money anyway. And it's just, I'm not a fan of that. Give me just a second. Alexa, stop. I gotta check my laundry. Looking into laptops, that was kind of like my last bullet point here, but I also wanted to update you guys more on the actual things I'll be working on in my business. And so I don't want it to be general, like, outreach. Like, I actually want to list step by step the things that I'm doing and the systems that I'm building in my business, so that you guys know what it takes to build a coaching business like this, right? Like, I personally think that mindset is one of the toughest niches to get into, because it's such a non-tangible thing, like how do you translate? And this is something that I'm always kind of exploring and being curious about, is how can I turn something so non-tangible into concrete, tangible results for someone? And so that's why I think the client that I currently have, she is just so great because she's so on board with this, and she's proactive. She asks questions, really great questions, and all things that are going to help me shape this program. I'd still love to be able to bring 4 more people on board, but I haven't been doing the marketing that I should be doing. But I will ramp that back up in Q4 of this year, which starts October. And I also want to start doing workshops. And so I will let you guys know when workshops go live, or when they're going to, maybe like at least 2 weeks in advance. But I think next year I'm going to be trying to do 1 workshop every 2 weeks. And I will kind of alternate between a few different topics that I have in mind, but I will post polls on my Instagram to kind of gauge what people are most interested in learning when it comes to strengthening their mindset, so that they kind of get out of their own way and are able to make more money in their businesses. So I'm excited about that. That's it for this week. I know it was a lot and I was going kind of fast, but I just wanted to make sure that I got everything in. And yeah, my wife did not text me, which is great. She should be here shortly. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, for being here. And I'm just trying to figure out how I can give you guys more value. So, feel free to leave me comments, suggestions for what you'd love to hear, what you'd love to know about starting a coaching business. It could be any coaching, and I can give you my insights based on my mindset coaching business. But there is a whole lot of things rattling up in here, and I've got tons of ideas of things I want to explore on this channel, aside, kind of separate from this series of videos, which is the Unshakeable Founder series, of my personal journey of figuring this thing out, and getting to a sustainable income to where I don't need to work a traditional 9-to-5. But for the time being, I am going back to a 9-to-5 starting next week, which is actually going to be a 8:30 to 6, and Fridays will be half days. But I'm also not going to be one of those quiet quitters. I'm going to give my all to this business. I understand now from a business owner's perspective that if I'm hiring someone, I want them to give me their all. And so I don't want to be someone who kind of just does the bare minimum and leaves. Like, I want to make sure that I give them my best. I bring my positive attitude, my growth mindset, and contribute in any way that I can to help all those people grow. Because impact is one of my core values, and I truly believe that if you stick to and live by your values, no matter where you go, you will inspire change in others. And so I'll end on that. Thanks again, guys, for listening. I'll see you next week.